want it, love it, yeah, I got it for you. If you really want it, live it, yeah, I got it for you. If you really want it, love it, yeah, I got it for you. If you really want it, live it, yeah, I got it. Hey, if you really want it, love it, yeah, I got it for you. If you really want it.
Hi guys, welcome to the Spinners Lounge, and this is the Fracture Recording Special Edition, and we've got another guest. And as always, before we get into it, we've got to let the guest introduce himself and tell us who they are. So please, Matt, tell us who you are.
Hi, my name's Matt, producer under the name Caramen, and I've been working with Fracture Recordings for quite a long time now. Must be 2-3 years getting on for.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
That's cool. That's cool. It's always good. Like I said, the whole part of doing the Fracture Recordings Special Edition, I think, as well, and I'm very grateful to Bosky, is that it's allowed me and obviously the Spinners Lounge to kind of get insight into the label, and also just maybe get a little idea of what it is to be a label in these modern times, with music and the business and that kind of stuff. So it's a pleasure to have you here, and obviously to invite us into your home. Now, the first question I always ask in the Fracture Recordings edition is the relationship with Bosky. How did you get to meet Bosky?
Okay. It was a long time ago now. I used to listen to S Dance, which is a pirate station in London. I think they're still pirate, pretty sure they are. And I used to listen to a DJ on my drive home called Simmer. And he used to request that producers sent him in new music, so I just got onto him through Twitter, sent him some new music of mine, unsigned stuff, because I hadn't really had anything signed at the time. I had a couple of tracks signed to some obscure labels that found me through SoundCloud, but sent him the tracks. He played them on the radio and said, I've got to introduce you to this guy that runs this label, who I later found out was Bosky. And it was my first release on Fracture, a track called Mine Now, and it went down pretty well. Yeah, that Bosky took it, signed it to Fracture, and it all snowballed from there, really. Yeah, it started out as sort of online only relationship, but then we met up, and it's a proper thing.
That's, again, I've said this in the last interview with Simmer, because obviously he did mention the connection and how you met as well. So, But that's the one thing I will give Bosky, I think, is the connection on the social media, but it's going beyond that to actually create a substantial relationship with that person, not just being, send me the stuff. So that's one of the things I think is good with Bosky, what he's done with the label. He connects well with people. Yeah. Right. So you at that time, you sent him some stuff, and obviously through Simmer you end up getting connected to the label. Yeah. So where are you now in terms of the label? How much material have you, or music have you put out with Fracture since you signed up then?
Yeah. So I had that first release, then there was a bit of a gap as I was getting things prepared, and trying to think what I've done since. I've definitely done 2 remixes, I think, is what I've also done. It was a remix on a Delhi Zoos release, and then another remix on a Danish release. I'll never pronounce his name right. And that went down pretty well, that one. That remix was quite good. And right now I'm working on a proper EP to put out on Fracture, because I haven't had any, apart from that first release, I haven't had a big hard-hitting release with them yet. So that's what I'm looking forward to getting out this year.
Just a quick question, because we're going to get into this normal Spinners Lounge question in a minute. What is your is music all you do, or do you have a job, or do you do other things?
Yeah, I work in IT, pretty exciting day job. I work in IT full time with a mate of mine. It's like just a business up in London Bridge. So the production and the DJing happens alongside that. So weekends, after work, staying up till silly hours, just mucking around, producing. That's how all my tracks start. Just late night sessions like that, basically.
That's good. That's good. Right. And in terms, like you said about you got EP coming, yeah. Mm-hmm. Is there going to be more stuff that you're going to be releasing on Fracture and stuff? I mean, in the future, is, you know, I don't know.
Yeah. I'm not planning on stopping releasing with them. I mean, they've supported me from the beginning, and I'm going to carry on supporting them as a label. So, yeah, I'm going to keep releasing. I try and keep releases not few and far between, but I don't try to over-release. So they won't be coming out very regularly, but I'll definitely be putting out EPs every year, as long as I can. Yeah.
All right,
Yeah.
cool. Now, I'm looking forward to the one that's going to be coming out whenever it comes out, definitely. And like for anyone who's watching, go to the Fracture website, Caramen, go and check out, you know, previous stuff as well. Right, now, because obviously you're a DJ and a producer, and one of the things I like to do is I like to find out how all of this started, yeah?
Yeah.
So before we get into that, the first question I usually ask is kind of tell us a little bit about where you grew up and the kind of like, you know, your family life and stuff. So where did Matt Caramen begin his journey?
In Epsom in Surrey.
Okay.
So not too far from here, in West Norwood now. I lived there all my life with my family, just in the family home. Very normal upbringing, really. Yeah, in sort of suburbia. That's where I'm from. Moved away from there only quite recently. Up here with a mate of mine, live with a friend now here in West Norwood. And yeah, so there's not a long story there really. I spent my whole childhood in Surrey, it was good, nice place to grow up. But,
Brothers and sisters and that?
Yeah, one younger sister, and that's it.
Okay.
Small family.
Yeah. That's cool. That's cool. The reason I do ask people about that kind of question is because, as well, what I found with the Spinners Lounge is that, you know, if you've got brothers and sisters, usually someone in your house might have influenced you to either take up DJing or music. So it depends. So it's always a good way to start off to know. So now the second question I have, right, getting to know you more, is right. We clearly know that you're into electronic and dance music, but I want to know, when you lived in Epsom, growing up, obviously in your house, what kind of music did you listen to? What was you influenced by?
Well, my dad was the big music guy, and that was always rock music. That's his thing. He plays guitar, so he's a traditional guy that grew up in, you know, the 50s, 60s, 70s. So that was his thing. So listened to a lot of that, which definitely brought me into music. It's obviously not traditionally what I listen to now, but I still do and I still enjoy it. But it just slowly progressed. As I got older, you start to find your own stuff. And then it really sort of became electronic when I sort of finished high school. That's when you start finding this sort of stuff normally. But yeah, in terms of right back at the beginning, it was a lot of rock music like Aerosmith. He's a big Pink Floyd man, so it's all that sort of stuff, which sort of gives you appreciation for soundscapes and music like that, because it's really well produced stuff. So yeah, that's sort of the genesis of it.
Okay, no, that's cool. So around that time, I always ask people again, right? Can you remember the first record or CD that you bought? Now, you can look at this question in a different way. You can look at it as in, I always tell people sometimes maybe not the first one because you might not remember, but a particular CD or music that you bought in that time of growing up that you kind of remember and kind of stuck with you.
Yeah, it would have been my Limp Bizkit CD, I think. Yeah. That's the one that springs to mind. There might have been one before that. I remember when I used to buy singles and they're in those tiny little thin CD cases. I definitely had a few of those. I can't remember what they were, but I definitely got the Limp Bizkit. Don't know what it was. Don't think it was an album. Maybe it was just the single.
Okay.
The Keep Rolling single. Okay. Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, each their own, eh?
So yeah, well, you know what? This is why I always ask this, because it's interesting, because you come from the background where you've had Pink Floyd at home, bit of rock, you go into Limp Bizkit, then you go into electronic dance. So it's always interesting to see the journey, right? So now you've listened, you listen to music at home, at Neps and the stuff, going to school, you've got your friends. Now, this question now is really about DJing, right? and also making a connection to electronic dance music, how then it progressed and evolved to where we are now. So, I'm guessing in high school, I don't know if, well, I'm old anyway, so I always go back to third year or fourth year, or fifth year, not year 10, 11, all that, I don't know. So, what year kind of was it, did you then start to, right, I'm listening to electronic music, and then what was how did the journey then evolve to being a DJ? Was it way past that? Was it,
It was, probably sixth form, as I was leaving school, and then definitely at university, you start encountering people that have decks. You start having better access to nights that have good DJs playing. So I'd have quite a lot of friends that had decks. So I used to go around there. If we were drinking around there or anything, it'd be quite impressive. Start having a muck around on them, on friends' vinyl turntables and stuff. And then it was a long time after that I actually got into it myself. And I don't really remember why. It started with the production first. I think it was because I was always, tinkering with computers and stuff and software. And so I just decided to get hold of some production software.
So
that was where it started.
Let me just ask quickly. So then production came before DJing?
It did, yeah. For me, it did, yeah.
Okay, so then maybe the question I should have asked then is what made you at that particular time you're talking about start looking at production? Was there something in particular that interested you about producing music, or is it something you just fell into?
I always felt like I wanted to get into music, like back to seeing my dad play the guitar and stuff. It always interested me, and electronic music's quite accessible. You haven't got to learn any instruments or anything. So I sort of always wanted to dip my toes into it. And then I don't remember. There was just one day I decided to I think the first piece of software I got was Reason. Okay. I mucked around with that for a while, didn't really get on with it. Then got hold of Ableton, and that's when I really started taking it seriously. And there was I can't think of a moment that made me start. But it was just something that snowballed, yeah.
Cool. And then, so production first and then DJing. So with production, I'm going to ask that in the next questions. Right, let's just focus on DJing now, right? Mm-hmm. So the time when you started DJing, and this is a question I always ask people, where there's two ways to look, 2 points to this question. Mm-hmm. First point is, when you first started out DJing, right, were there any DJs that influenced you or that you was looking or you saw and thought, right, those guys or this person is the kind of person that, I'm not going to be like them, but I'm going to try and model, my DJ persona,
Sort of, yeah. People that know me will laugh when I say this because I always bang on about it, but Hot Since 82's always been the guy that I've looked at and thought his career is like the career I'd like to have. He's like really well respected as a DJ, but he's also not inaccessible. Like anyone can go to a Hot Since 82 night and have a good time. It's not too underground, but he still retains that sort of, he's got the underground credibility. So he was one that I sort of looked at early on, and his first productions were quite basic, and I was like, I could probably do that. Obviously, the proof's in the pudding. It's a lot harder than it looks, but yeah, he was an early one, and since then there's loads. I mean, in terms of DJs, it's an open book for me, really. There's so many.
You're like me. I've got. It's hard for me to name a favorite, but the reason I do ask about the favorite DJs because I believe that when you do get into DJing, you do take influence from kind of either guys you've heard play out or. You know what I mean? You model yourself a little bit on them. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Right. So, okay, so Hot Since 82 kind of inspiration. Mm-hmm. Now, you're a DJ, established producer, you're doing a lot. Your 3 favorite DJs of all time. It's a tough one, I know. I gets everyone every time, but, it don't have to be 3, but again, we put Hot Since 82 to one side, but these are the guys now, currently, you've learned about them, you've seen them, maybe you heard them, that these guys for you are the guys that are just up there.
At the top, oh God, it's going to be hard.
It could be anyone, any genre, it doesn't,
I mean, seeing people like, I'd probably put someone like Seth Trox would probably be in there. Trying to think of the best people I've seen. I mean, it's ridiculous numbers of people I could choose from. Richie Hawtin, I really like what he does. I mean, he's an obvious choice. I'd like to answer with some less obvious names, but the ones at the top of their game are. So Seth, Richie Hawtin. Oh, don't know. I'm going to struggle with the third one because there's just too many floating through my head
The
now.
two you've given so far, you know, sometimes as well when you say someone pick out your favourite one, and like you said, sometimes people might try and pick up an obscure one that no one knows.
Yeah.
Like, you know, the great guy. But you know what I found? Like me, I like Masters at Work. I don't care how common that is. They are, for me, they're the kings of the kings. So it doesn't matter. So if you want to run with them two, we can.
I'll run with those two.
Yeah.
I mean, of late, I focus less on single DJs. I like collectives and labels.
Yeah.
So I can go to a label night and I'm not there to see one headliner. I'm there for everyone.
Get much more.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree as well. Definitely. Okay, cool. Now, with the DJing, right? Let's fast forward a little bit. So you've gone through the rigmarole of sort of practicing, testing your skills out. At what point then did you sort of venture out, so to speak, out of the bedroom and then go out and maybe start playing at gigs, whether it be a friend's party? How long after you took up DJing did that kind of happen?
It was quite a while. And that was, I mean, I wasn't really putting myself out there as a DJ at all, really. I guess at the beginning it's because of a confidence thing, really. You just assume you need a lot more time. But it was when I got involved with a friend of mine, Rick, who runs another label, CTM they're called, and he runs nights throughout London, just in pubs and bars. Okay. And I got friendly with him, and he just said, "Yeah, just come and play our." They do like bank holiday things where they get all of the people they're involved with to play. So that was my first time. That was probably a year or two after I started. And yeah, that was sort of my first experience, like horrific nerves. It was funny that day.
You would get nerves on your first time, but again, it's like driving a car. Once you drive, you get used to it. You know?
That first one was, after that I've been fine. But it was that first one was nerve-wracking. And it was only in a small bar, but it was packed because it was baking hot bank holiday. It was absolutely rammed, and my girlfriend said it in the cab there. I was just absolutely silent, didn't say a word to anyone. She was like, "Are you okay?" I was like, "Well, I've been better." But no, it was all good in the end. It was all fine.
Like I said, you remember it because obviously it's not necessarily a turning point, but it's your first kind of little steps you take. You know what I mean?
I'll always remember it. Yeah.
Cool. So, with like playing out, is there been any particular highlights for you that you kind of say, okay, not necessarily this is the moment I've arrived as a DJ, but this is a nice feeling being a DJ. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I've had good times at all of their things because they're quite good crowds they get there. And then most recently, the biggest system I played on was with a promotions group called Riddled. They booked me to play one of their nights at 93 Feet East on Brick Lane, and that was really good. That was sort of my first sort of time playing on a big rig, ones that really shake you, and that was good. That's when it all started to make sense. You know, the why you wanted to do it, because you stood on a proper stage with your chest vibrating from the feed. From the monitors, but yeah, no, that's probably it, and I'm hoping that'll be topped this year with more bookings. Yeah,
no, it will. You know, as long as you keep doing what you're doing, the opportunities will definitely come. Right. So the last question I'm going to ask in the DJ bit, I'm not too sure, but with obviously the DJing, have you done radio?
Yeah.
Okay, you have done radio. So, is it something that you just one-off, or was it a regular thing?
It was a one-off. I'd like to do more radio. I was supposed to do some stuff with S-Dance, but it just sort of never came to be. It was through one of the Fracture guys, Forte. He worked with a radio station called Radio Provoke.
Okay, yes.
And he
yes,
just
yes.
asked me to come and do a guest mix on there. It was like an online-only station, and they record it, and it goes up on live stream or Ustream, whatever it's called. That's my only experience of it, actually. Yeah, just the one. I'd like to do more.
I was just going to ask that, would you like to do...
Yeah, I'd love to do more. It's just the slots are quite hard to come by, really, especially regular ones, but even guest slots, they seem to get... They're just packed with people. Back to back, so
people are always offering themselves, making themselves available. But no, it's cool. I think if the opportunity comes, there'll be lots coming your way. Anyway,
yeah, I'd like to do more.
No, definitely cool. Right, on to the next question. Right, this is about style. So, because you're a DJ and producer, and I found that, especially with the guys from Fracture, you guys DJ, you guys make music, right? So my question I always ask is, when you play out and when you make your tracks, is there a connection between the two? So, or are they different? As in, what I produce and my production is kind of that way. I'm mixing, I just go with it and go anyhow.
Yeah.
So for you, how does it work out?
They're slightly different, I'd say. Yeah. I'd like them to be closer, but a lot of my stuff is quite underground, like it's not that accessible. So when I'm playing out, especially in warm-up slots, I have to be quite careful because some of my stuff's a little bit aggressive and out there. That should change as I'm getting booked for slightly bigger things and proper club nights where people are expecting to hear that sort of stuff. I will play a lot more of my stuff, but when I've played bars and pubs and stuff, I can't really throw too much like techno in because it doesn't go down too well. And so yeah, there's at the moment there's a slight separation. My stuff tends to be a little bit more. I'd like it to be more complex and underground, but it's difficult to make stuff that's like that. But yeah, a lot of my stuff isn't quite as accessible as a lot of house music you hear. Some of it is, but yeah, there probably is a slight separation, yeah.
Okay, so with your style, what is your style? Are you like, I don't know, because you see, I use the word house because house for me just kind of fits in everything. But, nowadays there's tech house, deep house, soulful house. So where would you see yourself in this house?
I'm all over the place, really. House and techno, really. Anything in between.
Okay, when you say house, do you then explore it? Like, I won't say explore, but if you hear something, you just if it appeals to you, you take put in your collection. But regardless if it was called soulful house or kind of, is that how you operate?
Yeah, I don't really drill down that far. It's just if it sounds good, I'll play it. That's as far as it goes. And if you look at my USB sticks, there's all sorts on there, from real hard German techno to Kerry Chandler to all sorts. Yeah, really everything. The whole spectrum. It tends to fall within those two main styles. Yeah.
Okay. Cool. So right, with style, I'm going to move on. Right, and sort of we're getting closer to it now. Now, when you started out DJing, because this part is about technology, hardware, and all that kind of stuff, right?
Yeah.
So when you first started out, did you have your own decks? Did you buy decks, or was you that classic case? You go around to your friends, and then you practice around there until you get your own ones. Kind of, just tell us quickly how you then got into the hardware side of it, getting practicing, and then getting your own kit. So how did it start off? Did you have your own kit first, or did you?
No, I used my mates first. Various friends at uni had all sorts of kit that I'd muck around on. Then my housemate Joe that I live with now, he had a set of vinyl turntables and Tractor.
Which ones? Which vinyl?
Stanton, something or others. Yeah, not Technics or anything, but it was good to learn. Sometimes it's nice to learn on hardware like that because you're always having to play with it and finesse it. So when you eventually do get your own or better kit, it feels easier. But that was where it started. vinyl turntables with Tractor, mucking around there, and then I bought my own after that. Yeah.
What did you buy?
I bought the full CDJ 350 setup off a guy on Gumtree. So it's two 350 CDJ 350s, a DJM 350 mixer, all in a flight case, basically. And I opted for that because I wanted, from day one, to emulate a club setup as close as I could, because I knew I always wanted to head that direction. So I wanted to start on a setup that would translate to what you would see in a club.
Definitely a good idea to do, definitely. So for today's mix, you're going to be using the Pioneer CDJs, yeah?
They're actually XDJs, which are their new, it's their new product set. It's basically a CDJ 2000, but without the CD drive.
Okay, yes.
Because I've only really used USB now, so yeah.
Cool.
They're cool. They're good bits of kit.
No, I'm looking forward to definitely seeing you use them, right?
Yeah.
So, and I don't even know if I've got time for this, right? But there's a debate, and I remember I was talking earlier before we started filming about the article that I read this week, Magnetic Mag, and it was about how seriously can you take a DJ when he turns up at a club and he wants to use a controller, right? Mm-hmm. And my thing is, since I've been doing the Spinners Lounge and lots of people using controllers, Bosky used a controller, I've come to see, my view on it is that if you're delivering an experience and I go home and think, wow, do you know what, you was hot, job's done. But there is an element of, I won't have to really have to explain, but purists out there, purists who look at you and think, right, no, you're not a proper DJ because you're not using CDJs or you're not using vinyl. What is your take on kind of with the hardware situation with DJs? What, if you're using a controller, can you call yourself a DJ, or do you have to go on the CDJs to prove to people that I am a DJ, I can use CDJs and blah blah blah? What's your kind of take on that?
It doesn't bother me at all. Like I chose the CDJ route. Other people don't. You're always going to get purists like that, and people like me that play USB only on CDJs will get flack from people that say you should be using vinyl. There's always someone that's going to say that. But yeah, as long as it brings something else to the performance, it allows you to do more with a controller. I don't have any experience with it myself, but it seems as though you're freeing yourself up to do more, which is great. But I agree there's always going to be a slight stigma to it, but that's inescapable really until it becomes more mainstream. I mean, I went to see Bosky play at Ministry of Sound on a controller, and it's absolutely fine. You'd never know, and that's, if you feel comfortable on that setup, then that's what you need to use.
To be fair, like I said, since I've been doing it, I've now come to the conclusion it's all about the experience. Yeah. Because there is so much hardware out there to get you. Because one of the things that I can definitely remember is when I was younger and I did have my techniques, they was bloody expensive. Like, just one alone could be your whole year pocket money wiped out. You know what I mean? If you get that kind of money anyway. So it was very expensive. And I found, like, now I'm looking at a lot of controllers and even going back to the first Fracture edition we did this year with Chris, just looking at the kit that he had, basically he manipulated it to be 4 decks. And he just had these two, in my eyes, these 2 little black boxes. That's all he had. So again, I'm always on the side of experience over what people might think, it's interesting, again, just to get different people's opinion on that. Matt, we can always chat for ages and that, you know what I mean? Like I said, I love doing this. I love meeting people like yourselves, and obviously I always thank Bosky for coming together and putting together this special edition as well for Fracture. So it's been a blessing, obviously, meeting you guys. So this particular last section, and one of the reasons I do this Spinners Lounge is that I do want people to come and discover you, yeah? And obviously only you can tell them where they can find you, So what I always do at the end is give us your social media links, so that people can follow you wherever it is you are, and then give us links to where they can find your mixes and then your music,
Okay.
And just before you start, we always, this is the Fracture Recording Special Edition. There will be links in the video to go and check out the catalogue, go and check out the artist list. You can find people like Caramen, Targ, Forte. What other names? Quickly, Bosky. Names? Give me some names.
For what?
Who's on the label? Give me some names quickly.
We've got
Josh Gregg. Craig Delaney. Listen, you was on about 30 artists last year.
30, so we've got Pathogen Beats, we've got Blake ITS, which is I'm the Sound.
Yeah. Basically, there's a whole heap of artists, and that's the whole, for me, the beauty of this is go and discover these guys, discover their music, and you just don't know what other links you might be able to get from, these artists. So that's over. So check out Fracture. Matt.
Yeah.
Social media, where can they find you?
All the usual stuff. Instagram, Twitter, all that stuff. It's all /Caramen_music.
I'll always put the links in the video below anyway. So you're on Twitter?
Yeah.
You're on Facebook?
Instagram, Facebook. Yeah, I mainly just use Instagram and SoundCloud.
Okay.
SoundCloud's where all the music is.
So on your SoundCloud, is it just mixes and music, or is it both?
It's both, yeah.
Both, okay.
Yeah,
so
it's just all in one.
On SoundCloud, Caramen, you can find these mixes and his music, yeah?
Yeah.
So that's all your links, yeah?
Yeah, /Caramen_music.
Yeah. Anyway, I always put the links in the video there, so you can be able to click into it. So
nice, yeah.
Guys, it's been a pleasure, obviously, being in Matt's home. And again, this is the Fracture Recording Special Edition. You can go and check out previous interviews and mixes that we've got in the playlist. And also subscribe to the channels to watch more. So, guys, I'm going to have to say peace. And see you next time. Guys, cheers.
Cheers.